It's Christmas at Death Star Zero. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, damn it. I always screw this up. Hey,
Okay.
everybody. We'll be right back. I'm going to play this again. I do this every time. Every time. Sorry about that, folks. I always forget to share the audio. Happy Thanksgiving early.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, now we're going to do this again one more time. Here's a little cartoon for everybody.
We could have swore turkeys could fly.
They can. They can. Oh, now it's in like a weird... Okay, here we go. All right. Now hopefully everybody can hear it.
Peter, are you gonna stand there and stare out the window all day? Or are you gonna help me with these Christmas lights? Are you missing that pygmy girl again, or whatever the hell her name is?
No, it's not that. She sees it. No matter how many lights we put up, no matter how many Christmas trees or anything else we do in this blasted station, this does not have that Christmas feel.
Come have a few drinks and you'll have that Christmas spirit, all right? Come on. I'm getting tired of this shit. Come on, let's go have a few drinks, and you can mind trick some stormtroopers into doing stupid shit.
But soon, I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
Well, stormtroopers are white. I've had enough. I'm canceling Christmas. Fuck it.
No.
Okay. How's everybody doing out there?
That is pretty festive there, Tom. I appreciate that.
Oh, shit. How's everybody doing out there? Happy Thanksgiving. With me is Larry. How you doing, Larry?
I'm doing pretty good.
We got something playing here. Okay, I'm good. All right, we got some super chats right off the bat. We got $2.99 from Michael Clark. A little something to support the channel. Thank you so much. Deranged Lunatic sent us $2. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Thank you, Deranged Lunatic. And yes, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Hope we got another super chat. Sister Harrow to Australian $2. And I think I am caught up now. Okay, we are caught up. Mecca might stop in. Never know. Somebody else might stop in. You never know. Otherwise,
it's Thanksgiving at the Midnight's Edge table.
Pretty much. I had nothing. Well, I'm sure I got plenty of work to do. I'm just putting it off.
Hey, I was able to keep myself down to 1,800 calories total for the day.
Shit, I couldn't.
Well, I got 2 Slim Fast shakes for like 2 of my meals. That was my trick.
Yeah, you've done a great job losing a lot of weight. I'm hoping to, but I'm just not as. I got to get that discipline up. That's my problem.
Mhm.
So yeah, Captain Robert Abrams still better than the holiday special. Well, thank you. I made that a couple of years ago. I just thought I'd share it with you guys. Thought you might enjoy it a little.
So, did you ever watch the Oral Knots? They have a video of redoing the whole Invasion of Hoth scene, but as the Empire trying to do a Christmas parade that goes horribly wrong.
No, I haven't seen that.
They got a good YouTube channel, and they do a whole lot of interesting Star Wars related fair use content.
All right, well, I'll have to check that out. Ghostheads Talk says, I hope we get some Ghostbusters news soon. Oh, you never know. We know Bill Murray's on board now. We'll probably get a trailer this Christmas, I'm imagining, if not early next year. Probably with Bad Boys 3, now that I think about it.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
This Christmas, watch a trailer for the movie you wanted to see in 2016,
Right?
but instead of having a good director, they got Paul Feig.
We're sorry. Oh, Jaybird, thank you so much. $15. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and congratulations to Midnight's Edge for reaching 150K subscribers. Oh, did the main channel hit 150K? Wow. Well, I'm sure we'll have to plan something soon for that on the main channel. I knew we were getting close. I did not know we hit it yet. It'd be nice if this channel could just hit 15K, but, you know.
But let's level up the channel, everybody. Tell everybody you know.
Everybody forgot about us. Super Bowl is very possible. I think that's around the same time that Bad Boys 3 comes out, January, the end of January. So, yeah, you never know. We're getting close, folks, on that front. So, yeah, anything you're looking forward to yet this year, or something that you've gotten to see that you really love lately?
I mean, there's always good movies to look forward to. I mean, the big movie I'm looking forward to is that awesome Nicolas Cage movie for next year.
I heard about that. I almost bought I almost bought my buddy a Nicolas Cage pillow today on Amazon, but I thought better of it.
Yeah, but I mean, that looks like that's going to be just an amazing, fun movie. And I'm not going to say I'm going to look forward to it, but I'm interested to see how we get to put Star Wars into the ground, into its coffin for the movies.
It just keeps getting worse with every trailer and scene that comes out. My God.
That Adam Sandler movie looks good.
And that dramatic one he's got coming out?
Yeah, and the Richard Jewell movie. Those both look good.
Yeah, I think I seen a short preview for his dramatic movie, but I was like, yeah, I'll give it a chance maybe. Captain Hare, $5 towards Rob's bail since he obviously still in the drunk tank after Mecca called the cops on him. Yeah, he'll be back sooner than later. Oh, Sister Harrow, you didn't have to do another one. I never forget Mead, my favorite channel. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, just slow Thanksgiving, so I thought I'd see who was around and say hi. And Larry was not busy, evidently, and he seen the post and said, hey, I'll come on board. Ain't had him on in a while. So other than that, what else are you looking forward to besides the train wreck that is Star Wars?
Seeing what comes the next year. Seeing when they finally get one of the Marvel shows on Disney Plus, seeing how Kevin Feige is prepared to weaponize Disney Plus to properly make us all pay Disney what it's owed. I mean, at least The Mandalorian's good. So I'm
enjoying that.
Yeah, I have high prospects.
Yeah, I mean, so far I haven't been too impressed with Disney Plus outside of The Mandalorian. The selection's kind of lackluster in my opinion. But then again, I'm looking at it from the perspective that I have a bunch of these movies already on disc. So it's kind of, to me, there's not much of a, I've heard some people are just like, you know, enamored and stayed up all night watching, you know, all this stuff they hadn't seen in years. And I can understand that to a point, but it's like, I have all this stuff already.
Yeah, and to me, the big thing is, if you're wanting to have the screen raise your children, then Disney Plus is a great service for you.
Oh yeah. As far as that goes, yeah. If you got kids, it's a must probably.
But yeah, like all the stuff that I'm really interested in seeing, I'm going, wait, I already have that in physical media, and I got that too. And what was weird to me was how they remastered some things, but not other things. And it didn't really seem to be a good rhyme or reason as to who got the remaster job and who didn't.
I could possibly help you explain some of those. Which examples are you thinking of?
Like the Spider-Woman cartoon that I
Mhm.
totally forgot she had a cartoon.
Mhm.
That didn't get remastered.
Right.
But like there's a bunch of stuff from like the 60s and 70s that did.
Okay, the difference is probably because in this instance, I'm going to guess up through the 80s, everything was done on film. And then video started becoming more readily available for television. So then a lot of stuff was mastered on video and they would throw the film assets out. Like even for instance, He-Man was done on film, but then it was transferred to video and they went and tossed all the film.
Oh, so that probably makes sense.
Yeah.
Then.
So you'll have instances where you don't have a better source than a high quality VHS type master. They either had like what do you call it, pneumatic tapes or whatever, depending on wherever they were and what they used to master them on. But chances are they're not much better than a beta or VHS master in some cases.
Yeah.
You'll have that. And then I know some of it is because Fox, some of those are carried over from Fox's upgrades. So that's why The Simpsons was cropped off, because instead of uploading both versions, they just uploaded the cropped versions. And I guess in January or something like that, they're supposed to be uploading the alternative ones, but a lot of people are upset about that. I don't know if you were noticed that at all.
Yeah. But my biggest complaint about Disney Plus is, so you decide to start with a terrible Lady and the Tramp remake, The Mandalorian, and High School Musical, the series, and a bunch of rando documentary styled shows.
Yeah, I was really like turned off by the whole Pixar thing. I didn't even really get into that. And somebody else told me it was really bad. Maybe it was Gary or something like that. Yeah. And then the Jeff Goldblum one was kind of interesting, but I don't know. It wasn't what I was expecting it to be. I was hoping it was just going to be Jeff Goldblum getting into weird adventures, going on weird adventures and meeting weird people and doing what he does with his little thing. Him learning about shoes and pants and no. I thought, if I want to learn about that, I'll just watch like,
So you're saying it should have been like Dave Attell's old comedy special, Insomniac?
Kind of. Of course they're going to set shit up for him, but I was expecting it to be like, oh, Jeff Goldblum spends the day at an Amish farm, or Jeff Goldblum, does something goofy here, there, spends the day at Disney World even would be interesting. You know what I mean? Interacting with people and just doing his shtick. I didn't think it was going to be like this. Oh, how it's made. I can go watch that anywhere, on the Discovery Channel or whatever it's on. The series I'm talking about, right? Where they just basically break down.
You mean the series How It's Made?
That's what I said. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? So yeah. But anyway, I did notice they had some new. I knew they were coming, but speaking of How It's Made, the Toys That Made Us. Have you seen those at all? Have you enjoyed those at all?
That's not my cup of tea. But I did see they have a new one. They have that on Netflix.
Oh, I died on the Ninja Turtle one. And not only that, it actually played a big part in Ninja Turtle history because the show had gotten the creators back together after their falling out years ago. So that was kind of interesting and cool. Yeah. And that one's one of the best so far of the 3 seasons they have. I love the He-Man episode. The Star Wars and Star Trek one are really good. I mean, so, and there was a lot of stuff left for them to do. But now, interestingly enough, there's going to be a spin-off of that show that you might be interested in. And it's called The Movies That Made Us. I don't know. That
does sound interesting.
And from the looks of it, it's going to be mostly like 80s and probably late 70s to early 90s content what they're going to cover, I'd imagine, just like the toys. I'm sure, I think they advertised on there already, like Back to the Future and a few other ones. So, I mean, it's all stuff you've heard of and would be interested in probably. It looks neat. I like when, and if they do it in the same vein as the toys, they got into stuff in that documentary that I've not seen in other documentaries, simply because they're not usually they're obviously not connected to it's an independent documentary is what I'm trying to say. So they get into stuff that you won't get from a puff piece documentary that's like sponsored by, whatever said company for a Blu-ray or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but yeah.
Yeah, and so I see a lot of people talking about Knives Out in the chat.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. You did. Mecca did.
I did.
She's coming in later, so maybe why don't we hold off on Knives Out?
We'll save that one out.
I'd say the one you and I did get to see though was Scorsese's
Irishman
movie.
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
I liked it, but the fourth act, the fourth act of the movie has kind of thrown me, and I'm still not sure what I think about the whole movie because of that fourth act.
What about it?
Well, like the first three acts are really your standard mob movie that you've seen Joe Pesci, Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, and like a whole bunch of people in the cast. You've seen them in that movie before. And then there's the fourth act where he's in a nursing home and going through cancer. And he finds out everybody who knew anything about his mob history is all dead. I'm not really sure how I feel about that as part of the whole movie.
Well, you do know this is based on a memoir, right?
Right.
And the one thing about this memoir is it's had a lot of controversy surrounding it. I didn't know if you were aware of that at all because it kind of died down a few years ago. Because basically, if anybody's wondering what I'm saying is a lot of this guy's story was proved to be wrong or lies or made up.
Right, but that's not the important part for this movie.
No, it's as a movie itself, I enjoyed it quite a bit. Is it in Scorsese's top 5? Probably not. His top 10? Oh yeah. The effects, there was maybe one or two scenes where they kind of caught me a little goofy, like De Niro's mouth didn't look right.
But most of those, the de-aging was really
good.
On.
Yeah, like you didn't even really notice it outside of the fact that De Niro still walks like he's 80 years old, and no matter what scene.
Yeah.
And the voice, they should have pitched up his voice a little bit when he was younger.
They haven't quite gotten the way to get rid of the old man walk yet when they digitally de-age somebody.
Well, what they need to do is start having stand-ins. I mean, it's going to feel bad for some of the actors, but they're just going to have to freaking deal with it. And they'll just do their voices, and they'll do the deep fake technology has come to a point, or whatever you want to call it, that it's working phenomenally. Man. And I'm not even sure if Pacino, did they use makeup or was that the deep fake stuff? Because
I think it was both.
Because his was really good. Like, I'm not sure what they did for his, but
I think they did an amalgamation of the two.
Pesci didn't look like he really had anything done to him the whole.
No. Pesci looks a little rough in real life, and this is like the first thing he's done in a while, if I remember correctly.
Was the last thing he did Lethal Weapon 4, or did he do something after that?
I don't remember, but he's like been semi-retired for like a couple of years.
At least that. That's what I'm trying to say. It's been at least a couple, if not more.
I think this was just basically a case where, Scorsese said, look, Robert's showing up, Al's showing up, all these other people you've done really great work with are showing up. And it's a movie about getting old, maturing.
Right. And not only that, the chances of all these guys working together are slim to none again. So that's probably a big part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really well done movie.
Mm-hmm. De Niro wasn't phoning it in. This isn't a movie he's making to pay for his film festival or his bad restaurant.
No. This was definitely. Do you think it's Oscar caliber though? That's.
He's got some tough competition this year. I think this might fall out if this was a weaker year. I think he could have had a chance at it, but I mean, you got to nominate Joaquin Phoenix for his portrayal.
Right.
And Tom Hanks has a pretty good case for It's a Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, too.
Here's the weird thing about that. Did you see that?
I did.
What did you think of it?
The writing was extremely smart. I like how they did the framing device of the Mr. Rogers episode around the movie. I like the story. The story was basically a basic, man has a rough, edgy life, but he meets a special person who makes him see that, the power of family and friendship and all that.
Now you do know it's loosely based on a true story.
Very loosely, yes. I'm aware of that.
Like a lot of the shit that happens in the events of the main character. Like, I guess first you got to frame it like this. Here's the thing that caught me off guard when I saw it. It's not a biopic about Fred Rogers, first of all.
Oh God, no.
So I mean, I don't think the trailers did a very good job of representing that.
Well, no. The trailers represented it inappropriately on purpose to get people into the theater.
But that being said, it is still a good movie, but I kind of felt like I was baited and switched into seeing this.
Yeah.
And then when I found out later on that most of the stuff for this main character was made up, and that's probably one of the reasons why they even changed his name.
No. No,
Right?
You're saying he didn't have an alcoholic father that abandoned his mother? What?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Well, that's just it. It kind of takes away from the impact of the movie itself in a way.
I mean, yes, if you're expecting it to be a true story, but if it's just like you accept it as a dramatized story, then you can really appreciate it for the actors. And the guy who plays the reporter did a good job.
Right, and here's my problem with biopics, though. I have no issues with movies taking time periods and squishing them together a little bit just for dramatic purposes and the ease of storytelling.
All these rock bands happen to have gone through the same exact series of events in the formation of their band. Isn't that amazing? I said all the rock bands have gone through the same exact
perfect example. Yeah, the Queen movie. Well, here's the thing. I loved the Queen movie. Don't get me wrong, but my one problem with it is it didn't make sense to me as to why they set the "We Will Rock You" stuff in the 80s instead of when it belonged. The other stuff made sense. The rest of the changing of events made sense to me. That was the only bit that really didn't make any sense to me. Other than that, I get that. I don't like it, though, when they make grand gestures and really change a story like that, especially something like this. I get it. They were doing it for more of a dramatic effect. But basically, the movie itself is good. Do I think it's Oscar caliber? I don't know. Because I wasn't even sold on the fact of Tom Hanks playing Fred Rogers in the first place until I saw the movie. And he gave me chills twice. So then I'm like, okay, he did that. Yeah, he doesn't sound like Fred Rogers, doesn't look like him, but he's got the essence. That's enough.
In Sith Lord, they actually reference the popular Mr. Rogers urban legend in the movie.
Legends, I think, wasn't a couple of them they talk about, or at least that one anyway.
At least that one. And like Mr. Rogers poo-poos the idea of him being a military sniper. Yeah. But man, that would be great movies if you base something on that urban legend about a beloved, soft-spoken kids host who's actually a master CIA assassin, but who's retired.
Well, you don't even have to go to that extent. You could just start out the movie like, well, this is what everybody thinks Mr. Rogers, and then you actually tell the real story. So that's the thing is I love the movie Man on the Moon is one of my favorite biopics because just about every damn thing that happened in that movie happened. Yeah. And it may not have all happened in the exact order it happened in, and they changed out some people here and there. But otherwise, like a good 90 or better % of that movie is fairly accurate. Yeah. I say you'll have a hard time finding one that is more accurate, probably.
What was the one that Sam Rockwell did where he played the game show host who made
God damn it. That's I've seen it too, and I can't think of the name of it now.
Memoirs of a Dangerous Mind.
Yeah, where he said he was next CIA or he worked for the CIA or whatever.
In the actual book, he built that up as a narrative framing device for his memoir. It was kind of interesting, but the guys who adapted it for the movie said, "Let's just pretend like this is actually all real."
Right.
I mean, I don't think you could do that with Mr. Rogers while his wife is still alive because she would.
She probably wouldn't let you. Yeah, I mean, she'd probably let you get away with saying, like I said, setting the first 10-15 minutes around all the urban myths, and then actually getting into the true story, maybe.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that idea would be a hilarious idea for a movie, and I think that could be a movie you could cast John Cena in.
Here's one that is Dr. Ruth was really a sniper for the Israeli army, and I think they are making a movie about her.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, because
she's still alive, right?
Yeah, she is. But I like the movie. I felt chills a couple of times, and this little line from Fred Rogers that Tom Hanks references, he always thinks about it when he's looking at the camera. He's looking at one child, and that one child is his moment. You feel at certain points in the movies when he's talking and looking like out towards the audience that that's who he's talking to.
Right. This movie is basically the movie of that article, is what it is in the end. It takes a lot of these moments because there's a lot of things that happen in the movie that are from completely different eras and stuff like that. So
yeah.
Rosetta Allen, thank you so much. $2. Tom, I want to talk to you. Happy Turkey Day. Sure, we can. Do you mean on like the show, or do you mean like personally and Twitter? Because yeah, if you don't, I don't want to bring you on if it's something personal. So, but anyway, yeah. So other than that, going back to the Scorsese movie, though, all the other stuff aside, I thought it was a very well done film. I like how they showed the dynamic and how it all works out, and without giving away too much. I mean, if you know what the movie's about, and it's really hard to spoil it per se, I guess. But it does give you an idea, or at least a possible outcome to what had happened to Jimmy Hoffa, I guess, for lack of a better way of putting it.
The legend of Jimmy Hoffa.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably similar to what really happened from what I did in my research, just to kind of be, up to speed on everything. I mean, I was aware of the whole situation and kind of knew what was going on. And I knew a couple of years ago, I thought they had a breakthrough, but they pretty much got it figured out who did it, but it's not for sure. Rookie Critic, thank you so much for the $1. Appreciate you, sir. Hopefully you're having a happy Thanksgiving. But yeah, so I mean, what else did you? What other things stuck out to you in the movie itself? I mean,
I like how it was a movie where you had your two central Irishman characters, and the movie was about both of them kind of in parallel. I like that. That was a good storytelling technique. It was about Hoffa, and it was about the guy that De Niro was playing. And
Frank Sheeran, I think his name was.
Yeah, and I like how there are several real-life mafia things, the way they were set there. And I felt like, oh, okay, so this thing in The Godfather was a reference to this thing in real-world mob history.
Right, and actually, as far as speaking of, like, Oscars, I'd almost argue that De Niro, De Niro's good, but I would say that Al Pacino was probably the better performance in this one.
And also, Al's kind of been dragging his feet in roles lately too. So this was a return to form, I feel like, for him.
Right, and maybe that's why I thought it was so good. But I don't know. I mean, I kind of felt like Pacino stole the show, to be honest with you. At least that's my opinion. I mean,
he's the guy who chews the scenery in any movie he's in.
You got all these guys together, and I mean, this is not the first time they've worked together either. They did that really crappy movie, Righteous Kill, a few years back. That was just a horrible, horrible movie. But and they did The Heat and all that kind of stuff. Or Heat, not The Heat. It's nice. I think this is the most screen time they probably ever had together. Definitely. I mean, the movie's 3.5 hours long. Did it really feel like that for you?
Oh, God, no. God, no. It felt like a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, I'd have to say there's a lot of times hey, Rosetta, how you doing? Feeling any better yet? We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
hopefully she figures that out. Acer says he must have seen a different film. I mean, I can understand how some people are not going to like this, like most Scorsese movies. You there now? No, we still can't hear you, Rosetta. Still can't hear you.
And yeah, who's the thing saying Jack and Jill was the best movie? So, action figure expert, I mean, the Dunkachino song is one of his greatest film contributions.
Dunkachino! I don't know. I thought this is one of his better movies, Macer. I mean, I can understand some people thinking it's going to be too long. That's the thing. This is definitely his longest movie ever, for sure.
This isn't, though, your standard 4-act movie story
No,
structure
would you think
wise.
this would have been better if he'd have done it like a Netflix series instead? Do you think people would have been able to let it breathe a little better that way? Because that's one thing I'm not going to agree on the whole thing with Omi Acer, but I'm going to say this. Yeah, in one sitting, which I did do it in one sitting in 3.5 hours, that's a lot to consume. And
it came out at a good time when people could consume that much, but
well, to me, I was just going to say, I think Scorsese's being a bit too indulgent here. There's probably a lot of filler he could have cut out of this movie. I don't know what you think.
I mean, the scenes in the nursing home, I feel like to him, the movie was about this guy getting old, everybody around him dying.
But and there's this through line with his daughter, too, yeah.
Yeah, but he spent too much time on the standard Scorsese mob movie stuff, and, he had to finish up the part he was really interested in telling the story with.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess I didn't have the issue with the fourth act or
I
third
don't have
act,
an issue
whatever
with
you want
it.
to call it.
It's
Because
just
there is 6 acts actually in this movie. It feels
like. It's just that whole sequence.
That's it. Maybe he should have split it up into 2 movies.
Yeah, that whole sequence in the nursing home was just odd to me.
Because maybe you could have ended it spoilers that are 70 years old. You could have ended the first half maybe after the JFK stuff and the Bobby Kennedy stuff. Yeah. When he goes to jail or prison, and then pick it up after that in the second movie. Because for some reason I can understand it does. There's bits of it that do feel a bit indulgent and overly Scorsese. Don't get me wrong there.
Since this is Netflix, it's not like he has to worry about this being, when we'll be able to get a second movie. It's Netflix, it's Scorsese. He can say, listen,
we'll just split it up. Yeah,
we're gonna film the whole movie in one shot. We're gonna do half of it for Thanksgiving this year, and then we'll do the other half New Year's.
Yeah, exactly. Or Christmas, they could have done it or something like that. Definitely, because that's the thing. I get it. He's doing it on Netflix. He doesn't have to really worry about the crap you do with a studio movie. But now that also, I think that it made him be a little overindulgent. Because yes, I'm not one of those who feels like every movie should rigidly be 2.5 hours, no longer. I say if a movie works, let it flow. But not every movie or every director should be allowed to just let a 4-hour movie plop. You know what I mean? This is good. It could have been a little. It could have worked just fine at 3 hours or as 2 movies. Because otherwise you run into that problem. Wolf of Wall Street's one of those movies where that movie just clips along. This movie does have a lot of slow moments.
Right, but it clips along because you're talking about the life of Jordan Belfort, noted drug enthusiast.
Right, well, the movie is supposed to be edited and feel like you're on a cocaine high.
Yeah.
So that helps. So I don't know. Hey, Mecca.
Hey.
Oh, hi.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thanksgiving, and actually pretty good timing. I don't know if Rosetta's going to try and come back in here. She was having audio issues, but we're just finishing up our talk about the Martin Scorsese movie, The Irishman, on Netflix, which I don't think you've watched yet.
I haven't. No, I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, The Departed's a great movie, Omi. So that's in my top 5 Scorsese movies, and that's definitely another one that's a longer one that clips along real well. My top 5 would probably be obviously Goodfellas number 1. Then probably Wolf of Wall Street, surprisingly, and then The Departed. Then I don't know. Probably between. I like Taxi Driver, but I don't. Taxi Driver, I feel, is very overrated. I don't think anybody agrees with me on that one. It's good. Mean Streets is good. I like Casino. Actually, maybe I would put this movie in my top 5, to be honest with you. But it would be just barely in there. I got to rewatch Gangs of New York. I haven't seen that in years.
All right. Can you guys not hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Rosetta was having issues.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hugo agrees with me. I mean, it's a good movie, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I think the movie's ending sucks. I'll be 100% honest with you. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody.
Yeah. Now, if you want to talk about a movie that has a bad ending, Knives Out.
Well, there you go, lady and gentlemen. I don't know anything about this movie. I don't plan on ever really watching this movie. I don't know if anybody's worried about spoilers in the chat. I don't care about spoilers.
Well, I mean, I think Ryan Johnson in this crowd is not a good watchword.
I don't think anyone's planning on watching this. No.
Oh, she's gonna try again here. All right.
So
Let's see.
there's two kind of smart ways to look at a Ryan Johnson joint. Is either seeing this movie helps him be able to say, you know, I'm not going to do Star Wars, or his failing gives him the Colin Trevorrow thing. So,
well, let's see how many things will screw up on me in one day.
There you go. It works now.
Hooray! We have audio.
Yeah.
My laptop decided to completely blow its audio system, so I go into the other room and the computer's completely reinstalling stuff.
Oh, I hate
that. How about here? The speaker and headphones on the phone don't want to work.
Oh, lovely. Well, Larry and Mecca were just about to start talking about Knives Out. Now, I have a feeling the movie's going to do well. It's getting mostly good reviews. It did really, really well on its preview last week, which is where they had one showing in theaters. It did like $2 million for that one showing or whatever. So,
my AMC theater, all the AMC employees for the last 2 months have been wearing Knives Out regalia. I don't know who's paying for that.
Yeah, the music is the movie is actually in the black because they pre-sold it overseas. So if this movie makes a bunch of money overseas, they're out that money. But whatever it makes here is just in pocket money. That's the thing, because the movie's been paid for. And Acer brings up the soundtrack. Oh yeah, I love Taxi Driver. Don't get me wrong. I didn't mean to make it sound like it was a bad movie. It just should have ended 5 minutes sooner. I think that ending. I feel like the ending is like a happy ending tacked on because the studio said he had to do it. I think the logical ending is when we're going out the corridor down that long. I have a feeling that may have even been probably his. I don't know about the making of the movie, but yeah, Goodfellas is the best movie ever. I don't think that's really hard to argue.
And by the way, hi Mecca.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, anyway, Time's Out. Crappy movie, guys. Cardboard Kenny, haven't seen you in forever. Kenny. Where have you been, sir? Just for not having me wear clothes during have not seen you in forever, sir. Wow. Come out of the woodwork or the cardboard for that matter.
Yeah. But anyway. So Knives Out. I didn't actually get to finish your review before I saw Knives Out, Mecca.
Mm-hmm.
And I, of course, don't want to put out all my good material with it. So I expected this to be a good movie based on the cast, and then I found out that we're being baited and switched in the trailers. So
I didn't think that, really. I really didn't think that. I think you still see a lot of the cast. I mean, you see a lot of that. They just...
Yeah, but you expected it to be more those characters in the movie when it was presented to you in the trailers.
I didn't really expect anything because it was Ryan Johnson, so... I kind of went in. I kind of went in expecting it to be terrible. So, that was a surprise to me.
See, I thought on the basis of its cast, it was going to be interesting and probably good to some degree. Also, the fact that I think Daniel Craig is now giving people discounts on his standard rate if they let him do a Kentucky Fried Corn Pone accent in their movie. I think he's giving you a discount if you let him have a funny accent.
I really enjoyed him in this. I thought he was like one of the best
He was great. He was great in this.
Ryan's already talking about doing sequels with his character, by the way.
I would be all for that. Just keep his little grubby mitts off of Star Wars. If this tells me anything, all right, he can direct these weird oddball comedies, with the creepy camera angles and the creepy, unlikable people. And, and that's the whole point is that all of these main cast are unlikable. And if he can do that well, he should not be anywhere near Star Wars. That's the thing.
Here's my thoughts about this movie versus The Last Jedi, and to a lesser extent, Looper. It's like he did Looper and The Last Jedi so he can go out to investors and say, listen, I could do big budget movies. I could run them tight. I can run them profitable. Invest money with me on my goofball weird movies. You're going to make money. I feel like now the script of The Last Jedi is Kathleen Kennedy and the story group gave him a checklist, and he wrote a script that
Around
did
it,
exactly what they wanted. He didn't try really hard, and they were like, "Oh, this is so brilliant!" And Ryan's like, "I know," and he just rode that cash gravy train to get into what he wants to do, which is movies like Knives Out.
Let's really quick hit this super chat. Tiberius Monk, $2. I'm thankful to Midnight's Edge for the content. Well, thank you, and we're thankful for you guys.
I'm thankful for these guys, just period, after the crap I've been dealing with.
We got Sean hanging out in the chat there. How you doing, Sean? Cardboard Kitty, another $10. Last 13 months has been so rough. Be glad for 2020 to get here, and here's you some cat food. Well, hopefully everything's okay, Kenny, and if you're having any problems, hopefully you sending the super chats is not causing them to be worse. That's all I'm going to say. Other than that, I hope you a much better 2020, sir, because we have missed your face around here. You are a funny gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, what were you saying again there, Larry? I'm sorry.
That basically he's did these big movies so he can do the movies he wants. And I think this is going to be successful enough that people are going to invest in him and he could just keep making any of these kind of movies he wants. And
I'm okay with that because I really enjoyed this one a lot more than Last Jedi. I went into this not even wanting to like this at all, and I was really entertained, and I liked, I liked that it was a little bit different than I expected, because I was kind of expecting it to be a remake of Clue, and a bad one at that, and it really wasn't a remake of Clue at all.
He said it was going to be an homage to Agatha Christie kind of stories, and it was.
And that's when it really piqued my interest. But I like the Agatha Christie style stories of finding more and more as I get older. So
my big complaint is he's overindulgent in his script. His story's overindulgent. Yeah. And he thinks he's more clever than he is. And he doesn't realize the things that he does that are actually clever in the script.
Well, yeah, like the people are saying, "Oh, was it all Orange Man bad? Was it all politics?" There are some characters who do talk politics, but in a way that makes you want to punch both sides of both of these characters, and that's the point. Is that he makes both of these assholes look like assholes. One of them's going Orange Man bad, and the other one's going, well, Trump, and all this stuff. And both sides come out to be the most annoying, whiny little bratty children. And that is exactly what I enjoyed about it. It's like, oh yes, see, now that speaks to me because I hate hearing about politics ball and I hate both sides of it. So yeah, that was really clever to me.
Fuck both sides, honestly.
Yeah, and that was I liked how he used the politics in there to just make you not like these characters.
Yes.
That was important. The big reveal, not even a twist about the plot that happened early.
Yeah, that halfway thing, it's like, oh, okay, well, we kind of figured this is early for this reveal of this part of it. But that was where it got really kind of interesting. It's like, oh, what's she going to do at this point? What this character is going to do with this information? I'm not getting super into spoilers, but that's what had me more invested in the movie about halfway through, because there's a little bit where I kind of wait, you're telling everything? You're giving this all right now?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's a thriller movie, not a mystery movie.
Yeah, it's more of a thriller.
The mystery trappings is more to build the story channel for the thriller to happen in.
Okay, Roman's got a good question. What was the big deal with the whole Star Wars fans? The one character was supposed to be like, what did you feel was the whole...
They didn't even actually do that. They just had him be like a 16-year-old alt-right troll nerd.
Yeah, he was just a little kid on his phone, basically.
Yeah, he only spoke twice?
Yeah, and he was barely in the movie. It was barely, it's one of those things where if you are an SJW type and you're looking for that, you're going to be, see, look what he did. But if you're a normal person, you're just going to be like, oh, it's just some kid or something. We don't even care.
Yeah. It's just a jerky kid whose parents are enabling his jerky behavior.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't even, I was looking and expecting and looking for a lot of the stuff. And then, once I kind of stopped going for the whole, I stopped really trying to poke it apart and trying to hate it. And I'm like, okay, this is actually pretty decent. So
I actually like the MO Daniel Craig's character has for his method as a detective.
Oh,
That's
I
why
like
I would
that
be
character.
interesting to. Well, no, like what his thing where he talked about how his style of being a detective works.
Yeah.
I'm like going saying that could be really interesting to do more movies like that.
I would love to see more of that as long as it's Daniel Craig. I'm not even that big of a Daniel Craig fan. I don't like him as Bond even, but in this, I really like.
Did you see him in Logan Lucky?
No.
It's a very similar performance to this.
But yeah, so this is I enjoyed it, but you know.
But
then again, I have no taste in anything, and I don't like Mandalorian. So.
My big problem is with the villain at the end. I think they picked the wrong person to be the villain at the end.
Yeah, I was kind of rooting for that person, and I kind of wished it would have been one of the less likable people.
No. I mean,
oh,
I'll be revealing my opinions on that on Friday because I'll be doing a spoiler-ish review on Friday about it. But there was an obvious villain for the whole movie, and Ryan didn't want to set that person up to be the villain, even though that's where his story was going. It's like in Looper. The story the story in Looper was going to be a redemption angle, but instead of being a redemption angle, they had Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character kill himself. He could have redeemed himself and stopped the whole chain of events from happening, but he chose to kill himself. And like all the other things leading up to the movie said, well, no, that's not a good path. And Bruce Willis, who was playing his older self, was also saying, yeah, all this stuff led me to terrible results until I met this woman who actually cared for me and loved me. And then I learned about love and compassion and empathy. So that was the direction the ending of the movie was supposed to go to, but Ryan just couldn't commit to where his story was taking it.
Yeah, I didn't get any of that, but of course I didn't see Looper. Because Looper looked like crap, to be honest. I didn't even
It has a good
Looper.
Concept, but it's kind of uneven. It's basically it's Gemini Man with it's basically just like Gemini Man.
Didn't see that one either.
No, but you've seen the trailers, right?
No.
The one with Will Smith.
Oh, the Will Smith, I just tune out.
Okay, well anyway, it's about a guy who goes through time to kill people. Well, the last person he's supposed to kill is himself. It's just this messed up kind of
who cares
thing. Yeah.
That sounds boring as shit.
That guy, who gives a crap about them?
That sounds boring as shit.
And The Last Jedi didn't know how to get to the ending its story was going towards because it had a checklist it had to go along with.
Yeah, that's
the
what it
ending for Brick didn't really work for me either. But I at least respected Brick as like, oh, you're trying to do a Philip Marlowe story, but with high school kids. That's interesting.
I didn't see it.
After I watched The Last Jedi, I binged the Rian Johnson filmography. So I could try to understand what I saw.
Yeah, I didn't, I don't think he's worth that much study, to be honest. Because, like, he's clearly somebody who he thinks he's smarter than he is. I think everybody's summed that up about him. Yeah. So it's not like, it's not worth the brain power to waste on the rest of his films. That's the thing. Like, again, for like Knives Out, it's just a cute little movie that, if my mom wanted to see a movie for Thanksgiving, I would probably take her to that because I don't think it would be harmful. And it wouldn't, like, it's not a bunch of CGI and special effects and a bunch of backstory they have to pay attention to. It's something where you can go in and, like,
Yeah, no lens flare.
Or a bunch of freaking lens flare.
Yeah, it's not one of these big overblown science fiction or teen sort of movies. And I think we kind of needed something like this as a palate cleanser. But what it does tell me is that his humor and style belong nowhere near Star Wars, and Kathleen Kennedy should never have allowed that man near Star Wars.
Well, I think it's because he did exactly what she wanted him to.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he won't say no to her, but
I was thinking she probably didn't say no to much either, but that might be because I've had a really crappy year, and anybody who insults you guys, I want to really go off at.
Yeah. Did you guys see the ET commercial?
No.
Yes, that was kind of cool.
Commercial?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Comcast who did it, right?
Yeah, well, Universal owns Comcast, which owns ET, blah, blah, blah. Henry Thomas was in it, though. It's like a sequel to ET. Let me see if I can find a good spot here. We're not going to show the whole thing because I don't need no copy strike thing, but just to kind of show a little bit here. Because I thought this bit was kind of cute here. But anyway, all right, let me bring it up here. I'll see if I can do this right this time, which we'll see. I don't know. I mean, I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was kind of cute for what it was.
It was adorable, little nostalgia mining.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're never going to get an ET2, but this is like the closest we're ever going to get.
And we're also not going to get the ET aliens in Star Wars.
Yeah.
To explain that.
Elliot? Elliot.
You came back. My son. My family.
Yeah, I don't want to show too much. I don't want to get a copyright strike, but didn't that just give you a little bit of feels there?
It did a little bit.
I don't know. I don't have a lot of feels right now.
Yeah, I hear you. It's all right, Rosetta. We understand. But yeah, it's like a little 5-minute or 4-minute thing, and yeah, it's a commercial, but you know, it doesn't really dwell too much on the. There's just like the little bit. I only see if I can get it to go there, where he's showing him like the
sitting on the couch watching TV.
Yeah, and shows him how to use the internet and all that kind of stuff. And oh yeah, it's kind of cute. Oh, the Oculus Rift thing or whatever the VR, that was funny. But anyway, so that's kind of cute. That's pretty easy to find out there if you want to see that.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right, I probably got to take off. I'm sorry.
All
I'm setting
right,
up my
no
little stream in the
problem.
background here.
Yeah, Mecca's going to be streaming here shortly.
Real quick,
So.
hon.
All right. What's up, Rosetta?
A couple things to tell you real quick. First of all, I did send you a message with some of the info on what's been going on.
Okay, yeah, I gotta
Second
take some time to read it. So I'm so sorry. I have no time ever. But
Second of all, I actually saw some comments that I wish I had been out freaking where I didn't have a chance to screenshot the other day, where people were actually floating a theory we were sisters.
nope, nope.
Well, it made me laugh though.
Hey, what are you gonna
No.
do? As long as it makes you laugh, huh?
I was like, no. I think I'd handle that better than the sister I have, but no.
Oh man. Well, take care, everybody, and I'll check up on
Happy
that.
Thanksgiving. I'll pop into your chat
Yeah,
here.
happy Thanksgiving. guys. Bye.
I
Take care,
shared the
hon.
ET video in the chat there for you guys who want to check that out. Oh, we got another super chat from Matt G. Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving. Andre playing you OT today. Paying you overtime. No, I just had, I mean, there's stuff I should be working on, actually. Probably more pissed that I'm doing this than the other stuff.
Yeah, but I kind of needed some companionship right now when my husband's worn out from taking care of everything and resting.
Yeah. Well, I just figured I'd go on for about an hour, maybe, if that, and see who was on and out.
And we've done close to an hour.
Pretty close to it, yeah. So I hope everybody enjoyed the little cartoon in the beginning. I hope everybody enjoyed the conversation. I hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving on their own. I want to say I appreciate the super chats very, very much. They do definitely keep the lights on here. And that's not even a joke. You guys have no idea.
Look here. Apparently, I'm not.
That's all right. But yeah, so in the meantime, you guys want to plug your channels. Rosetta, why don't you tell the folks where they can find you?
I don't even have the link to give. Just follow my name over on Twitter and you'll figure it out. And I mostly do photography, paintings and stuff, and more art stuff. I'm not usually involved in the rants, but usually while I'm showing off stuff or making stuff on camera, we're having a bunch of nerdy debates. So it's kind of an interesting duality.
Yeah, I see you stream a lot, so
yeah. Partly because my system keeps screwing up and I can't ever get it to work right to record videos anymore recently.
Yeah. And this is and then Larry, where can the folks find you?
You can catch me with Jim on Recording in Progress. I got the link over for you, and
Just plop that in the chat.
just pop it straight in the chat. Okay.
I already did, but if you
Oh, you
want
already
to, you can too. Yeah.
Yeah. You can also catch me with Michael Wilk on the Wilk Report. Though the problem is when Michael and I can get together and his internet connection works well, that could be a little iffy. And I'm popping around a whole bunch of other little channels now, starting to get myself around doing different live streams and spreading out because I got my comic book project I'm working on. I will probably be launching the mailing list on that in the next month or at the first part of the new year. So keep an eye out for that.
All right. Yeah, we haven't had you on in a while, so I'm glad to finally get you back on here again. It's been too long. We'll have to have Mike on again. We had him on not too long ago. And here's Rosetta's YouTube. I just shared that in the chat too. If you guys want to head over there and subscribe to both these guys, I'm sure they'd appreciate it. And I appreciate all of you out there. I want to say thank you. And of course, I want to say an extra special thanks to Rob and Mecca. And of course, Andre for doing everything they can for me over the years here at Midnight's Edge. I can't thank them enough for everything.
And how weird is it that you're part of an internet community that got formally called out by J.J. Abrams?
Right? We didn't even get to talk about that too much. So we talked about that yesterday. So we didn't even have to go there. I mean, it's just, Midnight's Edge was kind of already on his radar.
Well, yeah, he didn't formally call you out.
Several people who some reason put you on radars, and you know what I'm referring to.
Well, the Star Trek stuff got us in his on the bad side of Bad Robot a long time ago.
I was more referring to somebody I have to deal with.
Other than that, I mean, I'm not going to go deeper into it than that, but I mean, so it is kind of cool to know that he's finally acknowledging us all as a whole, because more so that I was like most people, I'm just like, well, you know, the Fandom Menace is just this small community of channels and and it's like, well, obviously if we're making that big of an impact, if they're bringing it up. So,
I mean, there are people, there are people who work for those big production companies who watch the content.
Oh yeah, so that we know.
So I don't know the extent to which or how that's communicated, and that all has to do with the way different companies work.
Yeah,
like CBS is probably not as intelligent about it, and Lucasfilm is a little different. But Bad Robot, at least JJ is willing to say, yeah, there are these people out there. They're taking pot shots at me, but I'm not going to call them out as haters anymore because that's clearly not worked. That's not worked at all. So we're gonna go a different route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is what it is. But everybody head on over to Mecca's channel. Tell her hello and happy Thanksgiving from us here at Midnight's Edge. And of course, same goes for you out there and everybody on this panel and everybody else in the Fandom Menace. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for everything.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
And we appreciate you here so very much.